Hey, y'all. This episode of Q Points may contain explicit language. Listener discretion is advised. Hey, what's up, good people? It's Jay Ray, the co host of Q Points, and I wanted to come to you because there are two really important ways that you can support our show. One is by subscribing to it wherever you listen to or watch your podcasts. Q Points is pretty much everywhere. The other thing that you can do is you can visit us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, and on Podchaser, and you can leave us a star rating. Please rate us 5 stars because you know you love Q Points. And on Apple Podcasts and on Podchaser, you can actually leave us a written review. It's not required, but it really does help to spread the word about the show, and it helps people to discover it as they're looking for new podcasts to listen to. We're always appreciative of you supporting Q Points. We thank you so much for all that you've done for us so far, and enjoy the show.
Greetings and welcome back to another episode of Q Points Podcast. I am DJ Sir Daniel.
And my name is Jay Ray, sometimes known by my government as Johnny Ray Cornegay III. What's happening, good people?
As you know, Q Points Podcast is the podcast dropping the needle on Black music history. And this episode is going to be like no other. And you are in for a treat because we have a special guest this evening. But before we do that, Jay Ray, please let the people know. Well, no, before we do that, let the people know how they can get a hold of that really dope sweatshirt that you have on, because you saw what I had last week. I was rocking mine last week. I was rocking a t-shirt, but you got the hoodie, and the hoodie is still fly, and you can still get away with hoodies now, even though we're in spring.
Yes. So weirdly, okay, before I get into that, so up here, up north, it suddenly went back to winter. I don't know what happened in the last couple of days, but it's suddenly like in the 30s again. So this hoodie is real important. But yo, check it out, y'all. For those of you that are watching, y'all see the freshness, right? This is our Slow Jams Can Heal Us hoodie. And the conversation that we're going to have tonight, right, is part of this line of conversations that we'll be having all year about the importance of slow jams in Black music. And you can get yourself a hoodie, the t-shirt like Sir Daniel had on during the last show, mugs, bags. Check out the bag. The bags is so fresh. You see this?
The bags, posters, buttons.
Posters. There's posters back here in the cut. You could get all of that if you go to store.qpoints.com. And here's the other plus of doing that. Like we talked about at the top of the show, where you can subscribe and you can leave us a review and you can do all of that stuff. Amazing. That is all completely free, and we would love it if you did all of those things. If you want to keep these lights on, you see these red lights back here in front behind the Sade and behind the Sir Daniel there, you can go to our store and shop. And it helps us to be able to do all the things that we do with Q Points.
Amazing. Again, thank you, listener, for joining us again for another episode of Q Points Podcast. Unfortunately, we do have to say goodbye to another legend. We want to pay homage to an iconic force in the music of gospel. Sandra Crouch passed away not too long ago. Sandra Crouch is, of course, the twin sister to gospel giant Andre Crouch, twin sister, and she recently passed away. Sending much love to our friend Kipper Jones, because that was his aunt and uncle. And I spoke to him and he was like, now my aunt and uncle are back together again. So sending much love to Uncle Kipper and all the members of the Crouch family. But J. Ray, Sandra and Andre really changed the face of gospel music. Sandra Crouch was an enormous singer in her own right, musician. People don't know that she played tambourine on the Jackson 5 records, on some Jackson 5 records, and she sang. She brought a lot of her brother's songs to life. But they have such a legacy And part of that legacy is it within the songwriting
Yes.
and lyrics. And that's what we're going to talk about on this episode of Q Points. We are discussing lyrics and specifically lyrics and intimacy.
Yeah.
Because as J Ray mentioned, we are on a Slow Jams Can Heal Us kick.
Yes.
And part of that campaign is to rediscover what we're not saying to each other or why we're not able to say it to each other through the music anymore. The music was a way for people to put words to how they were feeling when they couldn't do it. So there might have been a song that you could use to express your feelings to someone, and it's not necessarily as nice anymore. So we're exploring that. And helping us tonight is a very special guest, Jerry. Okay, guys, we've been really, really, really excited about having this guest on because she is so accomplished. And Jerry is actually going to run down like her resume and run down the pedigree because we are super honored by who we're being joined tonight. Jerry, take it away.
Absolutely. As Sir Daniel said, we met this person actually a couple of years ago now and have been really excited to have her on the show. But I want to read the bio of Latrice Sampson Richards. Latrice is an award winning podcast producer, host, and speaker with a 14-year background as a dual licensed mental health counselor. With an in depth understanding of the human experience, Latrice creates content that blends thoughtfulness, healing, and entertainment, resonating deeply with audience. Latrice has elevated the podcasting landscape by creating opportunities for podcasters and brands to connect with their audiences via immersive live events and shows through her production company, Pod Melanin. Her work is marked by a collaboration with renowned brands such as Afros and Audio, Black Podcasters Association, Black Podcasting Awards, Women in Color Podcasters, Black Women Stitch, She Podcasts, Lipson, Acast, and The Cube. She has curated live podcasting events and shows nationwide, serving as a catalyst for authentic connection and community building. So listen, if we was in person, we would say, get on your feet, stand up. Welcome to Q Points, Latrice Sampson Richards.
Put your hands together. Come on now. Y'all can do better than that. You can do better than that. Come on now. What's happening, Latrice?
Y'all sure know how to make a girl feel good about herself. I was listening to that resume and I was like, damn, who that girl is. And I wrote the damn thing.
Right. It's you.
Okay. I'm so excited to be here with y'all tonight. This has been a long time coming. And so I'm just super duper excited to be here with y'all.
The feeling is mutual. We are so happy to have you here, Latrice, to discuss this topic about lyrics and how they affect us and why are people apparently so afraid of intimacy anymore.
See, I think most people there's a lot of different reasons, right? Everybody has a different reason as to why they may struggle with intimacy, but I think that if we really took a step back and looked at the total sum of those reasons, it really comes down to the fact that intimacy has not been a positive experience in their lives, right? So the intimacy that they have experienced has been difficult for them. It has hurt physically, spiritually, emotionally. The people that they thought they could trust, the people that they thought were supposed to take care of them did not. The people that they loved, that they whether they chose to love or they were just supposed to love just because that's what it is, ended up failing them in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And so people struggle with intimacy because their experience of intimacy has been negative in some way, shape, form, or fashion, right? And so, in order for us to get on the other side of that, we have to, one, speak it, we have to acknowledge it, we have to say, I, that person that I thought that I could trust. I put my trust in that person. I stepped out on a limb and I took a chance on loving that person, or this my family, this my blood, the people who were divinely charged with the responsibility of taking care of me, they failed me, and that's fucked up.
Mhm.
It's fucked up that I had to go through that, right? Like, just call it out and acknowledge that this is why I am struggling with intimacy, because you cannot address the thing until you can first acknowledge that it is a thing that needs to be addressed.
Wow. Latrice, yes to all of that. And what I love about your response is it also explains why having songs that feed us these lessons are really important, because here's the thing. I know for a fact that I learned lessons in love and life
Mhm.
because of the music I was listening to. It wasn't, I was too young to know what it all meant in some
Yeah.
cases, right? But when I got there, I was able to put like, oh, that's what that feeling is.
Yeah.
That's what that song was talking about. And even those moments in songs where you just like, no, I play this song because I need to. It takes me back to a point in time
Mhm.
where this song is the thing that comforts me when I go through a situation like X, right?
This is the thing though. That is biological.
Mm.
That is biologic. That is how human beings function, right?
Mhm.
So I'm not gonna nerd out completely on y'all. I mean,
Nerd out,
No, please,
Latrice.
please, please. Give it to us. Come on.
because
While we
I
got
be
you
nerding
here.
out, okay?
Yes.
I be nerding out on
While
the
we got you
cool.
here, you gotta do it. Come on.
Listen, but the long and short of it is that in the study of memory, right? Because there's an entire study of human memory, and how do we form memories? How do we decide what memories need to be kept and what memory? Because think about, you experience millions of stimuli a day,
Mm.
from touch, feel, smell, sight, taste.
Mhm.
At all times, you are taking in information at all times. Okay? That's a lot of shit to process. You can't remember all of it.
Right.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying? It is just not, it's not logical. It's not feasible. The brain is not built like that, right?
Mhm.
And so what our brains do for us is they essentially categorize the things that we're taking in. And they categorize in order of importance. And that order is based on, first and foremost, survival,
Mhm.
right? What are the memories that I need to pull up immediately in a life or death situation,
Mhm.
right? So that's what we call instincts.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
Then, love and belonging, relationships, connection. And then we look at, self-actualization and, the higher, it's Maslow's hierarchy of
Hierarchy of
needs.
needs.
Look it up. Okay.
Mhm.
It's foundational. Okay. And it really, people need to know it. We need to understand it so we can give ourselves a break. I mean, let's just be real. So the memory research shows that memory can be altered with the addition of sound, right? So
Mhm.
memory can be altered. So what can you can be conditioned to react a certain way, to respond a certain way, to recall a certain message by hearing a certain sound. That can be a song, that can be a bell, that can be, yelling, right? Because over time we start to generalize these things, right? So that's the that's the nuts and bolts of it. That is like the ridiculously simplified version of that, right? But I share that to say that when that R. Kelly song come on, because black folks is having a hard time letting go of the aura.
They are
Okay.
baby.
Say that.
It is the kids is out here struggling. They like,
Struggle.
I want to step in
Listen,
the name of
it's
love,
a
and I'm like,
battle.
don't
This nigga
play
been
it.
a part of our lives. He done been at
Right,
our weddings. He
right.
done been at our funerals. He done been at our. We graduated to the aura. All of the major moments of our lives. He was there.
Right.
He was there. So to get rid of him is it almost feels like getting rid of all of our happy memories, all of the things that bring us joy, all of the things that bring us peace. You get what I'm saying?
Mm,
Because in our minds, the lyrics, the songs, the vibrations, the tunes, the tones, it is intertwined. Like there is no separation in that memory. Does that make
mm.
sense?
It really does. And that gets to the complexity of even the conversation that we're having here, because the lyrics are one thing, and then you have all the stuff that surrounds it, right? I know for a fact that the songs that mean the most to me, the first note is going to be like, nope, that's it. And you kind of know, even when you hear something new that you've never heard before, that when it's
Mhm,
going to do that to you, right? Because there
mhm.
is something in that vibration, in that tone, that you like, I don't know what they're about to do, but that first bar just sent me in. So
Yes,
I'm gonna wait and
yes.
see what's next. And Sir Daniel, that actually brings up an interesting point for you as a DJ. I'm sure that's part of it, right? Because pretty quickly, how quickly do you know if a song is about to hit for you as a DJ or not? How quickly do you know?
Like within the first 4 counts. Like there's just certain things you can. Well, I'll speak for me. Like I pick up on a vibration of a song and I can already tell, okay, this is going to make me happy, or this is going to make me want to take a beer bottle and smash it over somebody's head.
Mm-hmm.
And there are much more songs now that lead to the latter of what I said, that make you want to crack bottles over people's heads more than to kiss and hug on somebody. And, I think, I don't know, it's that vibration uh, within the intentions of how people create their music now.
Yes.
And Latrice, you backed that up just now by speaking about how sounds can bring up memories and whatnot. And I think what's happening is maybe a lot of musicians are trying to
Mhm.
process through their music, and they're
Mhm.
making music that maybe we just have a whole generation that is trying to process the traumas that they've experienced through their music, and they're just hitting us like with all the trauma and none of the joy.
Yeah, well, and we've seen that throughout history,
We have.
We have seen that throughout history. Look how well documented the civil rights movement is.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
The civil rights movement is very well documented. It's in the music, it's in the movies, it's in the
Mm-hmm.
television shows, it's in the pictures, the fashion, right? It's
Yes.
it's in every single aspect of creativity. There is some aspect of the civil rights movement, and I would even say the 70s as a whole. The
Yeah.
70s is one of my favorite generations.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, like I just really, it speaks to me. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? It speaks to me. But what was being created at the time is a direct reflection of the sentiment of the people who were creating it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the people was going through at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Disco was about trying to find joy
Yes.
because everything was so fucked up, and it was
Yes.
so much tension, and it was so much, so the disco people was like, fuck all that, I'm just gonna live, I'm just gonna be in joy and
Be
peace, and
free.
I'm just gonna be like, yeah, let's do this, right? But then
Yes.
you also have, you got that, power to the people
People.
kind of
Mm-hmm.
music as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got the tracks like Nina Simone, who, is
Yeah.
like Mississippi goddamn. I
Damn.
don't even know if
Right.
that was the 60s or the 70s, but
Mm-hmm.
you get what I'm saying? Like, it is chronicled in the music what the people were expressing at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it kind of becomes like a time capsule
Yeah.
in its own way. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. The world is on fire. People are struggling. People are struggling emotionally. People are tired. People are burnt out. That everybody's on edge. Everybody's scared. We rubbing pennies together, robbing Peter,
Mm-hmm.
trying to pay Paul. It's a hard time right now. And we're seeing that, I think, come out in the music, but we're also seeing, let's heal, let's
Yes.
love, let's, we the shit,
Mm-hmm.
like, don't, let us not forget who we are. Keep your head up, like, we're getting both sides of that. And I think it's also a time capsule of what's going on right now.
Mm. I feel like this is a good time to talk about, what do you think? To talk about some lyrics, to talk about songs.
Certainly. Like, I am very curious. I'm very curious to hear from both of you about a lyric that just shot an arrow through your heart and just
Mm-hmm.
never left you. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a ballad or a
Mm-hmm.
slow jam, but it's something when you faded out the music
Mm-hmm.
and you filtered out the music, there was something about that lyric that just stuck with you. And whoever wants to go first, go first. Matter of fact, ladies
So
first.
Yes.
Latrice.
I have two. So what we gonna
Okay.
do, like a little round table, or y'all
We
want me to give y'all mine right now?
You can give me, if I do one and you do one. How's that feel? How's
Okay.
that feel? Okay.
Yes. Well, okay. First of all, it's not fair.
I know we're asking you to do the impossible.
It's not fair because I was just like, what are they even talking about? One song? Like, what?
Right.
Are you serious right now? Like, are you serious for real? But it did send me down the rabbit hole because I'm like, okay, if I can only choose one song, then obviously it needs to be the song that I think has had the biggest impact on my
Mhm.
life. And I am very clear on what song that is.
Mhm.
So I'm going to share my one song. How long is a lyric?
You want to give us the first verse?
No,
You
not the first verse. I want to
okay.
give the last verse and the chorus.
You
Is that
do your
okay?
thing. That's absolutely fine.
Okay. All right. So my song choice is I Choose by the India Irie.
Mhm.
Mm,
Yes.
India has several hits on my top list,
Mhm.
okay?
absolutely.
But this is actually my like favorite song of all time. And I'll do the lyric first and then I'll talk about a little bit briefly about why. So I want to say this is the last verse. Yes, this is the last verse of the song and then it closes out with the chorus. So she says, "From this day forward, I'm going to be exactly who I am. I don't need to change the way that I live just to get a man. No. I even had a talk with my mama, and I told her, today I'm grown. From this day forward, every decision that I make will be my own. And hey, I choose to be the best that I can be." This is the chorus now. "I choose to be courageous in everything I do. My past don't dictate who I am. I choose." Because you never know where life is going to take you and you can't change where you've been. But today, I have the opportunity to choose. I used to have guilt about the way about why things happened the way they did, because life is going to do what it do. And every day I have the opportunity to choose.
Mic drop. Mic drop right there. And India has always been prolific.
Yeah.
But talk about why. I think it's pretty self-explanatory why that means a lot to you, but please break it down for us, for the
It
listener.
means a lot to me because it was a lesson that I needed to learn. That is a life lesson that you get to choose too. You get to choose no matter what it is. If it's relationship, you don't have to wait for somebody to choose you. You get to choose too. If it's a career decision, you don't have to wait for them to choose you. You get to
Mm.
choose too. You get to choose to say, I am not engaging in this. And you get to choose to say, I am going to engage in this. It is a choice. And I think a lot of times myself, I'm a very emotional person. I mean, I done already dropped a tear tonight. Y'all know I be crying. Okay. I be crying. It is what it is. Okay. But it took me a long time to be okay with the fact that that's who I am, and to not feel shame or guilt around that, and feeling like I had to be who other people needed me to be in order to be in relationship, in order to be loved, in order to be accepted, in order to be understood, etc., 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 in order to just not be alone. And this song came to me in a time in my life where I was, for the first time in my life, on an intentional healing journey,
Yes.
like intentionally trying to take the reins of my life and heal myself. And so hearing that message that I get to choose, it was just, it was profound. And so it is, it's kind of like my motto is how I
Hmm.
live my life. And it's, I tell it to people all the time, like, you get to choose to.
Yeah.
You don't have to just let life do whatever it want to do to you. You get to choose how you feel about it. You get to choose how you respond to it. You get to choose whether or not it gets to exist in your life.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Thank
Yeah.
you, Latrice, for sharing that.
Y'all
Um,
ministering tonight.
listen.
There are two types of people in the world: those who complain about the state of today's music and those who dig. I'm Jason Randall Smith, and I invite you to check out Radio BSOTS, Both Sides of the Surface, a music podcast championing the work of independent artists from around the way to around the world. With a primary focus on Creative Commons licensed music, think of this show as a never-ending virtual crate dig through a parallel universe of online labels, seeking out the hip-hop, soul, jazz, funk, and electronic music gems that are often hiding in plain sight, and hopefully demystifying the world of Creative Commons along the way, one song at a time. You can find Radio BSOTS wherever you listen to podcasts. For more information, visit the website at bsots.com. That's BSOTS.com.
So the song I picked two songs, and I could have picked more, but I'm like, I'm gonna pick these two. And the way I selected my songs was I went to my Last FM profile. So for probably almost the last decade, I've been on occasion tracking what I listen to. So I've had like 20,000 tracks of songs over time. And so what it does is it tells you like, okay, here's who you have listened to like the most, or here's what you play. So
Mhm.
anyway, my most listened to artist, I think I may have mentioned this on the show when we talked about this artist, but is the Foreign Exchange. So I was like, I do listen to a lot of Foreign Exchange. So I went back into the catalog, And the first song I selected is such a beautiful piece. It's called The City Ain't the Same Without You.
Mm.
It was written by Fonte. The lyrics are by Fonte, and it was produced by Nicolay, so the duo. The song was actually sung by Yazara. Shout out to Yazara for her brilliance. But I'm gonna read this beautiful first verse that Fonte wrote.
Mhm.
It was cold outside, so I thought I'd get away to the one place where I'd be warm. Spent my last few dollars on a ticket to fly. Oh, I'ma take a jet plane to carry me straight to your arms. And when the wheels touched down, I called for you. Said, baby, I'm here all for you. And you let me know that you were with her. And it made me wonder, baby, are we still in love? And then I thought to myself, maybe we never were.
Mm.
This song, like that's the opening of the song.
Right.
And the music bed is just kind of, it's really just Yazara's voice and the keyboards. There's
Mm.
no rhythm section yet. So she's singing these words almost like she's talking them.
Mm.
And then it goes into, and I've only got myself to blame for painting these skies with your name, and it's a crying shame. The city ain't the same without you. And this song, I love a good um love song. This is about heartbreak, but it's also this person having this realization about the experience they were having,
Mhm.
and they're reminiscing about this love lost, this love gone, and that's okay. Like there's no positive resolution to this. This person's in a city to see someone that is not seeing them.
Mhm.
Mm.
And I am always moved every time I hear it.
Mhm.
It gave me some more language. You know, these songs, we go through things in life and you're like, oh my God, I know, I don't know this feeling, but I know what this would feel like. You know what I'm saying?
Emotion is universal.
Hmm.
And that is another basic human truth.
Yeah.
Emotion is universal. A smile is a smile in America, it's a smile in Japan, it's a smile in Afghanistan, it's a smile anywhere, Antarctica, wherever you
Yeah.
go in the world, okay, anywhere
Hmm.
on this planet, a smile means the same thing, right?
Yes.
So emotion is universal. We may not have the same experiences, but we understand the emotion of it all.
Hmm.
And I think that's why music allows us to come together because it communicates emotion and we all understand emotion.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Y'all got it. Ooh. Y'all doing, let me tell you something. Everybody, we're ministering on this episode of Q Points. You see how quiet it got? Everybody's just processing
Hmm.
everything and no, but and that's what a good lyric will do to you. It will resonate with something within you. And
Mhm.
so I'm gonna go to the 70s for my lyric, and it's from the Voices of East Harlem,
Hmm.
and it's a song called Right On Be Free.
Mhm.
And I'm just gonna read to you the first bar. I want to go where the north wind blows. I want to know what the falcon knows. I want to go where the wild goose goes. High flying bird, fly on. I want the clouds over my head. I don't want no store bought bed. I'm going to live until I'm dead. Mother, 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 save your child. Right on, be free. Right on, be free. Right on, be free. I don't want no store bed. Right on. I want the clouds over my head. Be free. And it's really simple what that song is about. Of course, it was recorded in the early 70s, and of course, you know, we were coming, like Latrice, you talked about the Black Power movements of that time, and of course, but the world, specifically our country, was struggling, was being strangled by the Vietnam War, was strangled by poverty, unemployment, all the things that you can think of that we're still dealing with here.
Mm-hmm.
We're not dealing with that now, but there's something about that lyric that speaks to my desire for escapism, or and my desire for change and transformation. And so
Mm-hmm.
that spoke to me, and it spoke to my just my capacity to dream
Mm-hmm.
and to want more. And that's why that speaks to me. And it, you know, things like those, and those are the types of song lyrics that really speak to me. And if somebody is really like singing it and really doing it like the vocalist was doing it, if you there's a live performance by the Voices of East Harlem. They went to a prison to to perform this song. These are
Mm-hmm.
kids, and when I tell you they were singing their faces off, and they were singing like the rent was past due, and like they hadn't eaten in 2 weeks. I mean, they were singing, and so
They were
I
singing.
they were
Yeah.
singing, and there's something about that that's just undeniable to me and will always resonate with me. And so that's a lyric that I wanted to share with you and the listeners, just to get a little insight into Sir Daniel a little bit, because
Mm.
and I love that about how all three of us came with something completely different. You know, we got unrequited love, we've got self love,
Yeah.
and then we have imagination and wanting to be free, and all of them
Mhm.
coincide with each other,
Yeah.
right? If I take
Mhm.
control, I can choose to take
Mhm.
those steps to help me be free.
Yeah.
And you know, unrequited love, let's not even talk about it. I don't even want to go down that route with y'all, because that's a thing. That is definitely a thing. But J Ray, let's get Latrice to do one more, because she
Uh-huh.
is our guest, and
Yes.
we're gonna close it out after Latrice hits us with her next favorite lyric.
Okay, so since I can only do one more,
But here's the thing, Latrice. So we can include your other ones in our newsletter. So then
mhm.
our folks who are part of our newsletter can get it.
You know what I was thinking too? I was thinking that maybe we could do a Spotify playlist.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We
You're
can do a
speaking our
Spotify
language.
playlist,
Yes.
and y'all can go and add that playlist to
Mm-hmm.
your list, and you can see what lyrics Treese has gained
Yes.
lessons from. Yes?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So this one I'm throwing in here, right, is not necessarily like in my top 10 list,
Mm-hmm.
but I I genuinely believe that we can and should stretch ourselves musically, because I think it helps us to understand and or discover new parts and pieces of ourselves, of who we are. Nobody is all one thing, nobody is all, a certain kind of way. The reality is that we are multifaceted individuals. That is who we are as humans. And so we have to have some diversity in our musical selection that feeds the different parts of us.
Yes.
Yes?
Oh, I
I
want to know
think
what
that
this is
we all
now.
in agreement with
Yes.
that.
I'm ready for it.
Yes.
That being said,
I want to know what Latrice about to say.
my second song choice is Love Me by Lil Wayne.
Yes.
Didn't
I'll
see
read
that
the
one
lyric
coming. Hit us with it.
and then I will share. I believe this is like the end of I think this is the chorus. This is the
Mhm.
first chorus, or it's just the chorus, whatever. Lil Wayne says, "Yeah, long as my bitches love me. I could give a fuck about no hater, long as my bitches love me. Yeah, 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 yeah. Eardrummers. Yeah, I could give a fuck about no nigga, long as my bitches love me." Listen, that's a word, okay?
Right.
That's a word. Because, and I'm being for real, we laughing,
Yes.
but I'm being for real. I get a physical reaction every time I hear Lil Wayne say that line, long as my bitches love me.
Mm.
Because at the end of the day, it don't matter who else fuck with you. If the people you fuck with you, don't matter what nobody else got to say.
Mhm.
Long as my bitches love me,
Mhm.
I give a fuck about what you got to say. I can give a fuck about how you feel. Because the people who know me, the people who appreciate me, the people who love me, as long as they fuck with me, then I'm going to be all right.
Mhm.
And I think it's important for us to be reminded of that, because we spend a lot of time trying to get people to choose us. We spend a lot of time trying to convince people, and I'm talking to myself
Mhm.
as much as I'm talking to anybody else. I spend a lot of time, right? Well, I can't say a lot because I be learning the lesson, but I used to spend a lot of time trying to get people to just accept me for who I am and to be okay with the reality of who I am. And this song reminds me that it don't matter if they do or they don't, because the ones who fuck with me, they fuck with me for real. And as long as I got them, I don't need none of that other stuff. I'm going to be okay. I have my community. It's small,
Mhm.
but it is mighty.
Mm.
And that's all that I need to live this life, you know? So Lil Wayne is a prophet
Yes. A,
out here in these streets. Long
bona
as my
Listen,
bitches
fide.
love me.
you took me back to there was a spot I used to DJ and there were dancers and they like to dance to that song.
Yes.
I
And
hadn't
then,
thought
I
about
mean,
that
but see,
song
but that's
since
the other
then.
thing though, right? Because on top of all of that, like Jill Scott did the interview. We was talking about Jill Scott interview earlier.
Mhm.
Jill Scott did the interview with Jamel Hill.
Mhm.
I
Hmm.
haven't
Yep.
watched the full interview, but on Jamel Hill's Unbothered podcast, she just did an interview with Jill Scott. And Jill Scott is saying, talking about intimacy and stuff, and she's saying, like, yes, I am the woo-woo girl,
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
I am definitely the woo-woo and the crystals, and
Mhm.
I'm the, natural girl, mother to the mothers and all of that
Goddess,
other
all of
shit.
that
But
Mhm.
stuff.
also sometimes I just want to fuck.
Yeah. Right.
And I felt
And
that in my
sometimes I
spirit.
just want to be a nasty bitch.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes I just want my line sister sent me a meme one time that said, I just want to do hood shit with my friends. And
Yes.
I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing.
We are
And we
multifaceted people. We're not
You
multifaceted,
one
know,
dimensional. We are not one
you know.
dimensional.
and we need to be allowed, given the room to be able to be those things.
Yes.
And to your point, when you have folks in your life that's like, I see all of Latrice, I see
Yes.
all of Sir Daniel, I see all of J Ray, and I'm in, and I fuck with them
Yes.
The long
Yes.
way.
the long way.
The
Can I
long way.
I want to bring in a lyric from that came in from the chat, and I want to make
Yeah.
sure that we do that before we leave out tonight. Mark McPherson says, shout out to Mark. I saw Mark on Monday in person. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Um, Mark picked one of the most beautiful songs, Just My Imagination by The Temptations.
Hmm.
And the
That's one of
lyric,
my favorites.
isn't that a beautiful song? And just these
Beautiful. I
lyrics,
like the song.
Each day through my window, I watch her as she passes by. I say to myself, self, even though that's not in the lyric here, but that's what happens. Self, you're such a lucky guy to have a girl like her. Okay, I'm not gonna sing. It's
Oh,
truly a dream come true. Out of all the fellows in the world, she belongs to me. But it was just my imagination running away with me. It was just my imagination running away with me.
Mm-hmm.
we got a little taste of J Ray singing and
Look,
everything too.
I
Mm-hmm.
love that song.
Come on,
Listen,
y'all.
he a good man, Savannah.
Thank you,
That's
Latrice.
that's a good man, Savannah.
Latrice, we have thoroughly enjoyed you on this episode of Q Points Podcast. Before we get up out of here, please, please, please let the people know how they can get more of you, how they can contact you and find out about your practice, and of course,
Mhm.
listen to your podcast.
Absolutely. Thank y'all so much for having me. I have thoroughly enjoyed myself. My cheeks are literally hurting because I've been smiling the entire time, which is always like a plus and a positive. I do a lot of interviews,
Mhm.
and they don't always be good, but I have thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Oops.
I have thoroughly enjoyed myself today. I love y'all so very, very much. And I'm just, so now like next step is we gotta work together for real, for real. We're gonna have to do something
Yes.
for real. So y'all, we're gonna see what comes out of that.
Mhm.
But thank y'all so much for having me. I can be found, I spend most of my time on Instagram. I'm not
Mhm.
gonna lie. Although that's not really saying much because I do not post that much. I'm gonna be honest. But if you want to keep up with me and what I got going on, Instagram is the best place to do that. And you can follow me on Instagram at Latrice Sampson Richards. I have also a TikTok that I, been kind of dipping into the
Mhm.
TikTok streets. They look like they're trying to ban it or
Child.
whatever,
Right.
but we're gonna see what happens with that. But you can find me on TikTok at Rich by Marriage. Which I think I'm going to change that soon. I think I'm going to change it over to Pod Melanin,
Okay.
which is the name of the company. I am working on the Pod Melanin website, but in the meantime, you can find my old website, which is not fully updated. So keep that in mind when you go to the website. It's not fully updated. It's in the process of being updated and changed over. And that's latricesampsonrichards.com. And I do live event consultations, planning, execution. I literally, one of my clients texted me today and she was like, "Hey, are you available for June?"
Mhm.
It's like wanting to get on the calendar and things like that. I got some really amazing events that I'm planning and working on. Like I was telling y'all before, last year, it was the most difficult year of my life, hands down, when my dad passed. And I had all these plans of things that I wanted to do, and it just shut that down.
Mhm.
It just really shut that down. So I'm on the other side of that now, and I'm really excited to finally be like pressing gas on all of the things that I've been telling y'all was coming for the last 2 years, 2 or 3 years, that kind of got derailed. So just be on the lookout for all of the things, and yeah, that's it. I do respond to DMs. So if you want to work with me, you can always just jump in the DMs on Instagram.
Listen, Latrice, we will absolutely be right there supporting Latrice Sampson Richards. The work that you do is incredibly important, and just you as a human being
Oh.
are just. I remember sitting in that room in Philadelphia and we hadn't met yet, but I
Mhm.
remember it was somebody giving a testimony and you just spoke life into that person from
Mhm.
your seat in the audience. And I'm
Mm.
like, we got to work with her.
Yep. Yep. It's true.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, because I just feel like it don't cost you nothing to be a decent human being.
Mm,
And
Mm.
my goal in life is to make sure that Anybody who experiences me, no matter how long, if it's for this hour and a half that we've been talking tonight, if this is the only contact you ever get with me for the rest of your life, I want for you to come away from that experience feeling like your life has been made better in some way, even if it's just for that moment. You know what I'm saying? Like that is the goal. And so, you know, I appreciate y'all and I love y'all. I love the people and the people love me back. So it's a mutually, it's a reciprocal relationship, you know? It's a reciprocal relationship. And yeah, I love y'all. Thank
Love you
y'all.
too, Latrice.
Love is real. J Ray, share some love with our listeners and let them know. Just remind them how they can keep up with us, and so
Yes.
that they can get more. They can find the show with Latrice and others
Yeah.
like it.
Absolutely. So, y'all are doing the most important thing. If you can hear our voices, if you could see our faces, that is amazing. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that you can subscribe and know when the new stuff from Q Points is coming up. And if they have a notification bell or anything like that, go ahead and hit that. If you want to do us a solid, please share the show with your friends, your family, your colleagues. If you like Q Points and you really enjoy what we do over here, chances are the people that are close to you will really like it too. So we would love it if you could share it. Those things are absolutely free. The other free thing that you can do is join our mailing list and our newsletter. If you visit magazine.qpoints.com, you can join for absolutely free. And if you want to go a step further and get really cool merch, like the Slow Jams Can Heal Us line, we have our Stop Tweeting, Start Rapping shirts. We got all types of stuff out there that you can buy at the Q Points store, and that can be reached at store.qpoints.com. Y'all have been falling through the store. We've been watching the orders come through and come in and go out. We appreciate that so much. We even
So
got
much.
we got our bags over there. I'm gonna show you the bag again because this bag's so fly. This is our record shopping bag. You can
Mhm.
fit 26 albums in here, y'all.
Oh, that is
You
a
fit
very
Yes.
specific number.
it is very, I count it. You can fit 26 albums in here, and we got three of them. So we got this, the Slow Jams Can Heal Us, and a couple others. So
Well, I
thank
need to get
y'all.
me a shirt. I'm gonna have to let me
We
get my
got
life
you.
We
together.
got
Let me get
we
my life
got you.
We got
together.
you.
We got
Yes, and
you.
y'all sign up for that newsletter so y'all could get that Spotify list. Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You heard what the lady said. That was the lovely Latrice Sampson Richards. I am DJ Sir Daniel,
And my name is J Ray.
and this is Q Points Podcast, dropping the needle on Black music history. What do I wait? I almost forgot my lines to the people, J Ray.
Oh, you didn't even say it. Yes, we have to
So I
do
gotta
it.
hit him. It's with the lyrics that you heard tonight. This means even more. In this life, you have a choice. You can either pick up the needle or you can let the record play. Again, I'm DJ Sir Daniel. That was J Ray, our lovely guest, Latrice Sampson Richards. This is Q Points Podcast, dropping the needle on Black music history. We will see you on the next go round. Peace.
Peace.